I love children. And I have a whole bunch of my friends who are married, and when I tell them I love kids, they say, please take ours. so as long as probably you don't have your own children, it's all nice and fine. But any which way, on a lighter vein. But I love kids and I like to interact with them. Normally, I don't like to have this conversation which go one way. I like to involve people in my conversations. But probably this time on, I may have to just talk to you all once, and then maybe we'll have an interaction session later, the way you all want it also. A little background. So my name is Prashant Bararia, and I was flying with a very major airline for almost 29 years. And just before COVID, that company shut down. And I'm an instructor, examiner, and I'm also with the DGCA. Appointed by them, they have this concept of a designated examiners where we go and on behalf of DGCA, but we're examiners for companies. So I look after all the training and checking and certifying my pilots to fly. Out of fear, one generic question, how many of you want to be pilots? Good. So that is how it is. The same journey started for me also. So when I was in school, in the first standard, from the first standard onwards, I was extremely clear that I wanted to fly. So the journey started with making those small model aircrafts out of small balsa-wood planes. And as I grew older, I started making slightly bigger aircrafts, remote control aircrafts. Then as I grew further on, and then I started making slightly more remote control airplanes where you stand on the ground, you have a transmitter in your hand, you're flying all that. And then at some point of time, I was really obsessed with joining the Indian Air Force. And when I went for my medical, I realized I had a slight power in my eyes. That automatically shut me down from joining the Air Force as a fighter pilot. And at that moment, it felt as if, my whole world has crashed down on me. So what I'm trying to get across to you is, in my career at least, what is important, which I would think I've heard a lot of esteemed speakers who've been speaking before me also, there's certain core values which are common for sustainable success and which is actually common across the field with everybody. What is success? Anyone? Anytime basically you achieve something that you've been working for, be a materialistic goal, non-materialistic goal, it's success. Now, either it stops there for you or you would like to continue going forward with that. Sustainable success is the concept where you probably are now going to go beyond that. So if you're going to, in fact, Harsha was the one who was before me, right? Exactly, I resonate his word. Have short-term goals to start up with. Okay, how you get there will never ever happen the way you want it to happen. What comes in now? Adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to the situation around you. One core requirement for sustainable success, which is applicable for everybody, is resilience. How many of you understand what resilience is? Resilience is the ability of a person or us to bounce back from a setback. Like I just said a moment back, when we want something, you may get it, you may not get it. If you don't, if you give up, it stops. But if you think, okay, fine, maybe this was a learning step for me, I should learn, where did I go wrong? At that point of time, it is extremely difficult to think about it because you're extremely upset, oh, why did it have to happen to me? But probably it was destined, whether you call it destiny or whatever you may call it. The bottom line, the truth is, it happened. Now you have to work and see that you move beyond that. Resilience is extremely, extremely important for you to have sustainable success. Going forward, next, never, ever stop learning. I am a pilot. People will say, okay, what do you need to know? I need to know how the plane flies. Yes, I need a little bit of engineering background. I fly through airspace. I see bad weather. You all sit here, you see a thunderstorm happening. You can see hail, rain. I need to know that because I am flying through the three-dimensional airspace. I need to go from A to B. That involves a lot of navigation. I need to know that. A very interesting incident I'll tell you. One time I had landed into Calcutta. I was flying for Jet Airways before. So when I landed into Calcutta, when we're shutting the aircraft down, we normally do not allow anybody into the flight deck after 9/11, which we all know. So this old lady wanted to come to the flight deck to see me. I told the cabin crew very politely, I'm sorry, we can't let her in now. Probably after we land, I will speak to her. So after I landed at Calcutta, that lady who was disembarking, she came to me. She opened the flight deck door. The crew opened it. She didn't open it. The moment she saw all those instruments inside and us sitting inside in the uniform, she immediately turned and she walked out. So I looked at her, and before I could even react, I was in the process of shutting down the systems and getting out of the aircraft. So I forgot. And when I was moving out, I saw that old lady walking very, very, very slowly down the path. I actually went and caught up with her. So and I asked her, "Ke aap aayi thi?" I'm like, She spoke to me in Hindi, but I get the message across to you. You had come there to meet me. What was it that you were really wanting to see? What did you want to know? She looked at me with all awe on her face. Son, I just wanted to see, how do you know which road to take to go to Calcutta? So you know that in a moment that absolutely set me thinking, because I probably know how things happen, but a layman doesn't know how things happen, because things are extremely different in the flight deck when we fly. I took her back all the way back with me into the flight deck. I made her sit in the seat with me. I powered all the systems of the aircraft. I put those computers on, and the look of fascination on that old lady's face, it was priceless. Because see, average humans wouldn't really understand how things happen. I will give you a simple example one more time. When I started flying, the planes, you see those planes flying all over us? Those small yellow planes, those small white planes, those are the training planes we all fly, and we learn how to fly in them. They will have 2, 3, 4 small round gauges. When I moved up, the aircrafts got bigger. They have a whole bunch of more systems, more instruments, more dials. Things start getting more complicated. Then came technology. Now, all those instruments are out. We have TV screens. We call them very crudely glass cockpit. The concept is the computers in the background are processing information and giving you all the data, which is being processed and given to you before you. Another extremely important requirement for sustainable success, quote unquote, is, I told you resilience, I told you adaptability, and other is always get down to knowing your foundations. Get involved in processes. You see, most of these big companies, when they hire their so-called sons, children to run companies, they start at a grassroots level. You need to understand how things function at a very base level. Simple example, we have such a big, beautiful building out of your school. If you didn't have a strong foundation, this building wouldn't be able to stand here also. It is extremely important for each and every person here who is interested in achieving success, who wants to move forward, to have a very strong foundation first, because unless you have a strong foundation, nothing can ever be built over a loose foundation. I remember in school one time, so we used to sit and we used to be the backbenchers. We used to hate sitting forward, because you're sitting forward, they ask you the questions first. So like we all were asked to sit here, it took me back to school, okay, which is the last seat? I want to go sit there. So we used to sit there, and the teachers used to actually aim for us there. Stop looking out of the window. You're not going to learn anything looking out of the window there. So that stuck to my mind actually, honestly. Maybe you will never know. She's my teacher. What she's saying is right. Along with learning came a lot of other processes. When I was flying for jet, when the company shut, just at the same time, COVID hit. It is like at that point, I took a call. Now, what do I do? Do I go join some other company? Or do I take some time off for myself, spend time with my family? For me, the values that are imbibed in us are extremely important. And that comes with the type of people you live with, your family, and the support mechanism that we have. So then I decided when COVID hit, okay, fine, probably I'll take some time off. I'll clear my head and decide what do I want to do next. And that's when schools shut down, malls shut down. You can't go to movies to watch. Nothing is happening really now. We got online and I did multiple courses. I would have done probably 7, 8. I was just talking to the gentleman here, sir, here. I did a full coding course. I learned Swifty. I learned web designing. I learned JS Node. I'm a certified fitness trainer, certified nutritionist. What I'm trying to get across, I'm also a master diver. I take people for diving trips. I teach them diving. I'm a paraglider pilot. I teach people paragliding. What I'm trying to get across to you is that never, ever, even if you become an engineer, some of you may become doctors, never, ever inhibit your mental growth. Whatever you learn, it could be anything as diverse as whatever you would want to do from the profession you're in. You never, ever know which time it will come and help you. It increases your IQ. It increases the whole way at which you look at things changes when you have a lot of information which is inside you. My mother used to tell me, why are you wasting time? You don't need to do this. You're a pilot. You need to go fly aircraft. The classes which I did with coding, where I am now, I am involved. I look after an airline now, the operations and the training bit only. We fly. I still fly. I'm still an examiner. I still clear and check all my pilots to see they meet minimum standards. I have branched out into the technical side also. We read multiple softwares now. This foundation which I learned while I was there is helping me understand how things happen otherwise. Then I had gotten into this thing also, nutrition fitness. A ton of my pilots, you will see most of my pilots, really huge. And you really wonder, how does he clear his medicals? Because see, as flyers, everybody who sits outside, they see, oh, it's a pilot's job, extremely cushy job. Kuch karna nahi hai. Take off, autopilot, sit back, enjoy tea. They don't realize the journey which is behind it. We have very, very rigorous medical checks. Every 6 months to a year, we have medical tests. Anything goes wrong medically, we first ground it. They first ground you and then they will talk to you. Now what do we do? We have exams every 6 months to 1 year. And a pass mark is 80%. You get 80, you pass. There's no first, second class, third grade distinction, nothing. You get 80, you pass. You don't get 80, sorry. You will be given just one more chance. We have simulators. Are you all aware of what simulators are? You've heard, right, what simulators are? I can put you in a simulator. I can take you up on that hydraulic, it's like a huge room on huge hydraulic jacks. When we take you up there, I'm sitting behind having a good time making the pilot sweat there. I fail their engine, I put their engine on fire. Idea is I'm training them to be able to handle emergencies in real time. Okay, so nobody knows that everybody who becomes a pilot, who becomes a flyer, has to go through all this process also. Then people talk to me, I've got super bikes. I've been all over. I said, fantastic. I said, which bike do you have? No clue. They don't know about the bike. I also have 3 super bikes. I've covered entire Europe on motorcycles. I have covered entire Thailand on motorcycles. I'm planning to go to Cambodia on motorcycles. No, 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 thank you. What I am really trying to emphasize, the point I make here is never ever stop your mental growth. Learn whatever you can. You would never ever know when you will come to need it. When we were kids, you see Diwali. It used to be a fascination. Oh, crackers, bombs, rockets, stuff like that. I was always interested. When someone told me you shouldn't do this, I will always want to do that. So then I went online and I started asking people, how do I make gunpowder and I make my own explosives? And I did that. I used to make my own, anars, flower pots. I make my own rockets with motors inside it. So I remember one time when I was a child, when I was moving out from my old house to the new house, and we were moving to a smaller place. So my mother was extremely clear, you will not take all this junk into the new house. I said, fine. So what I did was I put all that gunpowder in that oil can, empty oil can. I closed the lid, I left it in that house and I moved off to the new house. After about a week's time, I saw the painter who came to do up that house and I met him outside. His whole hand was bandaged all the way till here. So I really went and asked him, I said, what happened to you? Nothing, sir. I was painting the house that you left and I had gone into your room and I was drinking bidi, smoking bidi, and to put it off, I found a box with ash inside it and I went to put off that bidi in that box of ash. And that whole thing went boom in my hand. I didn't know what to say to him really at that point of time. I said, okay, fine, I'll talk to you later. So what I'm trying to get, you see, these things, I have burnt my hand, crackers. You may probably sit and see. I make crackers, I've burnt. And the credit goes to my mother. I had 2nd-degree burns on my hand. I got bandaged. The next day, again, I started making crackers with a bandaged hand. The credit again goes to my mother, who was always supportive. She says, as long as you've learned from your mistakes, you can do what you want. You all also will be in a journey of life, will make mistakes. That should not let you stop from what you want to do. Learn from those mistakes. You learn from those mistakes, it will just open up your minds to be able to do what you want to do more. Last, one of the most important thing again, which I lay a lot of emphasis on is, you should have a balance of IQ and EQ. Does anybody here understand IQ? Have you heard the term IQ? What does IQ measure? Spot on. Brilliant. If you only have IQs, like I was just discussing with the gentleman here, you will just be a computer, right? I put in data, I put in information and I get the same information I get out, whatever data it processes. What differentiates us from machines is EQ. What is EQ? Absolutely spot on. Emotional coefficient. You need to be able to empathize also. See, when you walk on a road, you are sitting in a nice, comfortable AC car. There are a lot of people outside who are probably not as fortunate as us. You see them sitting on the roadside. I see so many people come out, throw something for them and move off. He also is a sentient being. He has thoughts and feelings. Respect your people around you. So for you again to be successful in life, it is extremely important also for you all to have a right balance of IQ and EQ. Some people say, in fact, EQ is needed more. And one more time, I do agree with them also. Because intelligence, yes, we need intelligence. But what really makes us stand out from machines and other things is our ability to show emotion. I don't know whether going forward there'll be machines which will get so sophisticated, maybe they will be able to emulate emotion also. I don't know. Maybe not. What is rightly important is, I will just sum it up for you all again one more time. When you grow up, never ever stop yourself from learning new skills. Learn whatever you can. Never be scared to make mistakes. Unless you make a mistake, you will never learn. I teach a pilot to fly. I know he's making a mistake, but if I correct that person then and there, he wouldn't even know he's making a mistake. I will let him make a mistake in a control environment and then I correct that person. So that mistake will imprint on that person's mind. Look, yes, I made a mistake. Never be scared to make mistakes. Get involved. Thanks. Get involved. When I say get involved, I mean when you start anything, don't try to just jump in somewhere in the top. Oh, you have done this. I don't need to know that. I just need this. No. Big mistake. Start from the foundation. Understand the processes. Understand how things are coming up. Only then will you understand how things are working, and you will be able to empathize with the people who are working below you also. Extremely important. Last thing which I just told you, have a proper balance in IQ, your intelligence, what you learn. Your school teaches you stuff. I personally believe IQ sometimes maybe is genetically imbibed, or maybe we're picking it somewhere down the line. I don't know how it works. Some people are able to improve IQ by practice and stuff. Some people are not. If I tell a fish to go climb a tree, it will spend its entire life thinking it's a stupid thing. Not because it couldn't do it. Everybody somewhere is a genius. We all have a strong points. Don't let that deter you from doing things that you want to do. Now I think back, I remember, when I was telling you, my teacher told me when we used to be the last benchers, Prashant, you are not going to learn anything looking out of the window. Sometimes when I fly now, and at 45,000 feet, when I see entire Hyderabad has gone, entire Dubai has gone, I just keep thinking back, if she was there, okay, ma'am, I'm still looking out of the same window, but I have come here. Thank you.